The black athlete experience encompasses many things, including dealing with police, fan opinion, and in many cases, the prevailing notion from some in society that they should just stick to sports. Joining us to talk about all this, 19-year Major League Baseball vet Torii Hunter, NHL veteran Evander Kane of the San Jose Sharks, and Dr. Angela Charlton, a psychologist who's worked with both the Oklahoma City Thunder and with NFL teams. Good to have all of you here with me. Torii, I want to start with you. You were on Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio not too long ago explaining why you never wanted to play for the Boston Red Sox. You said because of a widespread issue of racism that went beyond the team. What did you mean by beyond the team?
I just looked up, and I was in center field, and I looked up and I saw the kids saying it, those words, and you saw the grown-ups around it, around all those that controversial word, and no one stopped those kids. So I don't think it's a Red Sox issue. I think it's something that's bigger than that. I think it's a family issue. I think it's a society issue, and that's something that Red Sox really can't control. I'm looking at where are these kids now?
Evander, I want to turn to you. You're a black man playing hockey. I saw just maybe 5% of the sport is black. What's been your experience playing hockey as a black man?
Well, at the NHL level, when it comes to players, I've never really experienced any racial slur. Growing up in minor hockey, there's a lot more derogatory slurs directed at you. I think it was all about how you manage it. I was lucky I had two great parents who were able to help me manage that, kind of be prepared for what it was going to be like in terms of playing a white sport in hockey. And, we just had to battle through it. I think it's been an issue and a topic that nobody's wanted to talk about or even really acknowledge. Anytime there's been an incident, it's been pushed aside, it's been swept under the rug, and we're not going to continue to put up with that.
Dr. Charlton, when you hear athletes should just stick to sports and just put all this stuff aside, what do you think?
Well, I think, what we're dealing with right now is we're watching events unfold, but racism is systematic. So whether you make $2,000 a year or $20 million a year, you still belong to a system. So you're still exposed to racist things. And at the end of the day, these athletes are either African American, males or females, and they're dealing with the same issues that we're all dealing with, that we're all facing. So it's part of who they are. So they can't just stick to sports. And it's important that they speak out about these things. We unfortunately, most of us have experienced these things throughout our life. And me being an African American, female, I'm the mother of a 20-something-year-old son, and unfortunately had a situation where I watched my child be profiled. So I think we all have stories that we've experienced. So it's impossible and really not a fair statement to ask them to just stick to sports because being a person of color is who they are, and the sport is what they do.
About 30 seconds each for all three of you. I want you all to dig into this question. What's the best way, in your opinion, for fans, executives, coaches, team owners to really understand the unique experience of a black athlete? Torii, you go first.
Get to know one each other, have that conversation, and I think that's what we're doing today is having that conversation, getting to know the experience of an African American player or a person working in your space. Relationships require the love, and love requires relationships.
Evander, same question to you.
Yeah, I agree with what Torii said. You have to have that type of love, but I really am a big believer on educating those type of people. I think, you look around, who are the team owners of these organizations, who are the upper management of these organizations, and let's be honest, they're a lot of white men, and they don't have that understanding of what black athletes go through and have gone through, and not only athletes, but the black community. And I think taking the initiative to actually truly learn and understand and listen to our stories and our experiences, I think can be a great benefit and hopefully can change minds and views.
I agree with what both individuals just stated, and I think it's important, of course, the relationships, but Evander talked about not sweeping things under the rug. And as Torii stated, I think that's what we're doing. We're having those conversations. Understand that my experience is different from yours. The black athlete or the person of color has a different experience than other individuals, and recognize that your organization could be a part of this issue. So let's talk about it. Let's educate. Let's work on ways to fix it. Talk is a first step in communicating, but now we have to take the next step and talk about how are we going to fix these things? How are we going to change these things? Because we have talked about it in the past, probably not to this extent, but we haven't taken that next step to fix it. And if we had, we wouldn't be having this conversation and be dealing with these things in 2020.